Hey, this is Ken from Coffee Crafters, and we wanted to do a new video series on starting a coffee roasting business. About 5 or 6 years ago, we did a series of videos, and I can tell you a lot has changed in the last 5 or 6 years. One of the things I wanted to start with before we kind of dig into the weeds on all the issues on roasting and packaging and even marketing was to really go over the basics of why roasters succeed and why they fail, because we see the same things over and over again. One of the biggest problems that we see when somebody's starting a business is they don't develop a plan, and that plan has to be for marketing and distribution. Those are two of the most important things to concentrate on as far as developing a business plan. And we would all hope that the quality of our roasted coffee would make our business grow. And I can tell you that the quality of the coffee for us as roasters is very important. But to the success of a business, it's really secondary to a good marketing plan. Because I can tell you, I've seen so many companies take off and run and grow based on a great marketing plan, mediocre coffee. So that's really something that you want to work on first. So before you start developing a business plan, you need to develop what that marketing and distribution plan is going to look like. Are you going to wholesale? Are you going to retail? Are you going to do each one of those only, or are you going to do a blend of both? And what do the numbers look like surrounding that? So running some numbers up front is really a good reality check, because we've had customers on the retail side. Let me give you a little example of a failure to plan. Customers decide, I'm going to do something that people aren't used to. I'm going to start a coffee roasting business, and I'm going to do home delivery. And that sounds like a really cool idea, great for the customers. You deliver it directly to their home. But look at it this way. Would you rather sell 50 pounds of coffee to one wholesale customer in one delivery, or 50 pounds of coffee in 1 pound orders to 50 different customers? And that really becomes the issue. I hear the statement, I'm as busy as I want to be, because they're so busy driving around delivering 1 pound orders of coffee, they don't have time to make money. So we want to go over some of those strategies of the people who've been successful. One of the things that's changed on the marketing side is we used to tell people, you're not going to sell coffee through your website. The website is a place to collect orders. And it's still true today, but people are much more successful marketing online. 12% of the total coffee sold in the US is sold online, and 55% of that coffee specialty coffee. So more than half of the coffee sold online specialty coffee, and that's grown. When we first did our video a few years ago, I remember reading that like 4% of the coffee was sold online. So now that's tripled since then, and so some of the basic things still apply to online sales, and we'll be going through that when we get into the weeds on the marketing program. So let's just talk about a few numbers. So if you are let's take an example of a one-man show. So you have one person, he's going to do the roasting, distribution, and he doesn't have any help. So one of the things that happens with retail is twice the profit per pound as wholesale. So we throw a number around, and it's still fairly close today, give or take a buck, but make about $8 a pound doing retail, as opposed to $4 a pound around there. It's up to $5 something now, but say $4 a pound for wholesale. The amount of hours that you have in a day to invest tells you what you have time to do. So if your roaster does 40 pounds an hour and you have a wholesale customer, you have to sell twice as many pounds of coffee to make the same profit. But 2 hours of roasting is going to give you 80 pounds, where it would take a lot of effort to sell 80 pounds of coffee to 80 different customers when you start. So most of our customers still do a blend of wholesale and retail. They'll start out like everybody does, doing the friends and family, and then they move on and they will add a coffee shop or a retail shop or whatever. So if you just take an average annual income, you'd have to sell about 30 pounds per day in number of average days per month to make an income selling all retail, and about 60 pounds a day to make the same income doing wholesale. So it's about double, right? The average coffee shop in the US goes through about 40 pounds a week. So you would have to have, quite a few of those to get you up and running on a full income, but not as many as individual customers, which takes like 300 individual customers drinking the average amount of coffee to service that one income. The reason distribution is so important, it's a time issue. It's about, how do I get a captive audience, or how can I have somebody distribute my coffee for me? And this is really where their shared revenue comes in. So when you wholesale, you're sharing the revenue with the person who's doing the downline distribution, whether it's a coffee shop, it's a restaurant, whatever is going to be on the wholesale side, a grocery store. So it's easier, in my mind, to capture those larger captive audiences than it is to go out and get in each individual customer online. Now, in saying that, I have to tell you, we've seen customers succeed, specialty roasters, charging a premium up to $25, $26 a pound for their coffee, single origin, micro lots. And why do they succeed? Because they're good at marketing that plan. So not everybody's going to go out and be good at doing that, but some people are going to be better than others, obviously. If you're not the real aggressive social person, going out and being able to capture those wholesale markets might be easier for you. If you're chatty Cathy and you like selling to everybody that way, then that can be a good marketing plan as well. So roasters fail because they have no marketing plan. They have an unrealistic distribution plan. They have no financial plan. And one of the things that Bryce and I will tell you, talking to customers, when they are on the phone and they're talking about starting their business and they spend all their coffee talking about creating the perfect roast profile that everybody's going to love, we know they're going to struggle. Those customers who come to us and all they talk about is their marketing plan up front, we know they're more likely to be successful quicker because they understand what it's going to take to be successful. So let's talk about the retail side of the business, because it is a good side of the business. Friends and family is a good way to get started doing that. You can also go to farmers markets. So we talked a little bit about the farmers markets in our last video on the cottage food home roasting side. Farmers markets are a great place, not just to sell coffee, it's a great place to get full-time customers on board. And you can use the farmer market as a distribution venue. That works as well. A storefront roastery is something that we see popping up more and more. That's where there's actually a physical location, that's the roastery, that people come to and purchase their beans. I didn't hear as much about that business model 12, 13 years ago when we got started, but I hear more about that today. The upside of that is you can get more people, your traffic coming by, you can advertise. Facebook is changed in gaining real value as a marketing tool. Drive people to your coffee shop, your roastery doing that. The downside of that is you have to pay for a storefront. So when you go through and do a proper financial plan, you will put all those things in there. You'll be able to put in your manufacturing cost, wholesale profit, retail profit, consumables cost, and you want to get all those things in that financial plan. So in one of the episodes coming up, we're going to talk about setting up your business and all of the things that you want to consider in that financial plan. And we'll actually give you a little rundown sheet that you can download. You can fill in the blanks, give you a little profit loss calculator that you can play with to help you throw some numbers around and see what is going to work for you. We've seen people grow from friends and family to huge distribution, whether they cover multi-state areas, long after they've outgrown our equipment, which is pretty cool that they're able to build businesses like that. We've also seen people build six-figure incomes out of their garage or their basement. And those are the success stories that really excite us, because it shows us that there really is an opportunity to be able to build that full-time income at home. So circling back and talking about why roasters succeed, I really want to hit it again, especially on the marketing side, because a good marketing message is something that will sell coffee. Coffee is the second most traded commodity on the planet. So if you want to differentiate yourself from every place else coffee comes from, you really have to be smart about putting your marketing message together and coming up with an angle. So one of the things with our electric fluid bed roasters, we have a whole list of things that make that coffee differentiated from other coffee. It's no hydrogen sulfide, because we're roasting in clean hot air, lower acidic, there's real health benefits in that coffee. Some people actually put a little heart on their coffee bag because it's heart-friendly coffee. So you want to really work those angles, and we're going to have a list of benefits from roasting with clean hot air that you can use in your marketing message. In the next episode, we're going to talk about marketing specifically and give you some real-world examples of what our customers have done on the marketing side to really push their business. One of the marketing things you want to do is, if you can do coffee for a cause, donate some of the funds to a charity or whatever. It's one of the reasons why one of the probably best wholesale financial models is selling to churches and schools, and it's a really great business model. It's such a good new opportunity that's not fully exploited yet. We want to do an episode just on that, because you think about it, how many churches or schools do fundraising? They're all doing some kind of fundraising all the time, right? But you can only eat so many cookies or have so many greeting cards or whatever. But if you can sell 50 pounds of coffee a week to a nonprofit, a church or a school, or just take the church as an example, to their congregation, you roast 50 pounds of coffee, you deliver it to the people who have ordered online, and you deliver it on Saturday, and that just gave you 50 pounds at, yes, only a wholesale price, but it also solved a distribution issue. You were able to have them distribute the coffee for you, just like selling to a school to fund their sports program, music program, whatever. Parents and somebody going to a congregation, a church, they want to support their organization, and what better way to do it than to spend the money on something that you're already consuming all the time? And so that's just one marketing issue. So as we go into the next episode on marketing, we're not just going to talk about those. We're going to give you some specific examples of what people are doing and how they're doing it. That'll give you something to think about. In episodes to follow after that, we are going to get into permitting your business as a full legal full-time business. Also touch base again on operating a full-time business under the cottage food laws in the states that allow it. And we're going to talk about space required, some roasting principles. We'll refer back to our other roasting videos, but more things outside of selling a roaster to you is packaging. Where do you buy your beans? Where do you buy your packaging? And covering those things. The practical day-to-day stuff of running a business, which is actually the easy part. But we wanted to go over the more difficult segments of starting a roasting business first, because the more time you spend on that and the faster you start investing time researching that, the more successful you're going to be. So stay tuned for the next episode, and we're going to talk about marketing.